Welcome to the Story Tinker Podcast, a place for in-depth analysis of webtoon stories. Co-hosted by sharp, witty, and dare I say thirsty fans, we dive deep into every episode, analyzing character struggles, relationship development, and of course, theories. You can follow the Story Tinker on YouTube, podcast platforms, and social media. For bonus content, sneak peeks, and more, you can support the Story Tinker on Patreon. We are really appreciative of your likes, subscribes, and follows on all platforms. Thank you for listening to the Story Tinker, and let's get started.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 153. Today we are with Krystine and Sabra, and we have a spicy episode today, and we're so excited. So Sabra, you can jump right in because you correctly predicted the course of this episode.
Yes, it's fun. I'm really glad that I was wrong about the tone of the dream, though. But I was kind of right on how he responded in a way. All right, so we see the, sorry, I'm at the recap. Okay, so we start off looking at his cute little house, his little
English
cottage. Yep.
House. I love it. I'm happy with my house, but it is such a nice house.
It reminds me of the house in is it called The Holiday?
Yes. Yeah. I love that movie.
Yeah. It reminds me of the little cottage in The Holiday. That's cute chick flick. All right. So we see the cottage, and then we are re-entering this flashback that Charles has where he places his briefcase on the table, and we hear him say, "Gweneth, I'm home. They let us out early for the holiday." And then he's looking around in the kitchen, "Gweneth?" And then you hear, he's younger Charles, his swishy hair, glasses, collar shirt, not as polished as he is at Young Technologies. Can't talk, but adorable as always.
I think.
Yeah. Yes, adorable as always. And then he hears, "Charles, you're home early," and he swooshes his head really quickly with this shocked look on his face as he looks towards the sink. "Please don't get mad. I know the doctor said I needed to stay off my feet." And he sees who at the sink but Bunty. He sees Sam, and it looks like she's working on some dishes. "The doctor said I needed to stay off my feet, but I was craving the cookies your mom made. But now that you're here, we can snack together." And she's turning around and looking at him with loving eyes, and he is shocked. He's just shocked. She says, "Oh, sorry, I guess you say ma'am here and not mom. That will take some time to getting used to." And you see her profile, and she's sporting a big baby bump.
Aww.
So,
we didn't even know Charles, wanted a family, but I think we can infer that from here that was what he wanted. Well, he probably did say he wanted a family. Sorry, but
I think the only time we heard him mention anything about a family was how when he was talking to Mr. Young in the car, he mentioned imagining a loving family like that. It was really brief, really vague. But yeah, this kind of hits the nail on the head that he really wanted to have a family. So now she's standing in front of him. She's doing the whole hand over and under the belly, holding it up. "Should we teach the babies to call me mom or ma'am? Or maybe it doesn't even matter. Sorry, I guess I'm just getting excited." And it's just
babies.
So cute.
Babies.
Right.
I didn't notice that. Babies. She's pregnant with twins.
Or more.
Oh, more.
I bet it's twins because she's done some fan fiction where she does. Monkey has done "What would it look like if Sam and Marshall had babies?" Sam Link, and they were always a boy and a girl. So I'm assuming it would be twins.
Yeah, nice connection.
But I didn't notice babies.
I noticed it on my second read. I was like, babies.
Yes, and my theory before was, what if Charles sees Sam in his flashback? Now, I was thinking when we opened the door, but this is just so much better. This is just so much better because we see he doesn't want to focus on the trauma and the negative, and he doesn't imagine Sam in that scenario, which I think is great. I really like that he's not imagining the worst. He's not thinking she's unfaithful or something like that.
Kind of a mix. The beginning part of the game is very, you know, sweet and idyllic, and you know, she's kind of taken over the home and rewriting the negative memory. But then what happens next is a little unsettling.
I'm not surprised though. I'm not surprised though on what's happening. So the next thing we see is Charles, and how would we describe this face? He looks heartbroken, in all honesty.
He has tears in his eyes.
Yeah, he's starting to get tears in his eyes, and you hear Sam say Charles. He's starting in the next panel. He's starting to shake. He's tearing up. He's breaking. And Sam says, "Charles, are you okay?" And then we see in box lettering, so we know this is Charles thinking, "Please." And Sam is getting worried now and starting to come towards him. Charles. And then again in the block lettering, Charles saying, "Do not do this to me." And he starts to fall forward. And Sam is running across the kitchen, "Charles!" And he is just leaning over on the counter crying. I mean, there's tears streaming. And he says, "This isn't real."
So,
and
what do you think he meant when he says, "Do not do this to me"?
He wants it to be real. I guarantee you, he wants it to be real, but it can't be real. He knows it. He knows it's not real, and it can't be real. I feel like I know this feeling, but it's so hard to explain. It's when you want something so bad and you can see a picture of it, you can imagine what it might look like, but instead of it causing joy, it causes just so much pain, because it's what you want, it's what you need, it's what you crave, but you've forced yourself to convince yourself that you can't have it, and it's impossible, and it's a dream that's just gone. He's been binding up all of his emotions for years. We've kind of figured out that it's been at least 4 years since the divorce, maybe even up to 7. We just do not know how long. But I think his "do not do this to me, this isn't real." I don't know. What do you guys think? This is just what I see. This is what I see.
I feel like it's his memories of Gweneth and like his current feelings with Sam, like blurring lines, like the lines are getting blurred, and so that's why he's getting like, don't do this to me right now. Like I guess he hasn't figured out his feelings yet because the lines are getting blurred. So it's like, don't get me confused. Don't twist things around in my head.
Yeah, don't make me think that this is going to be a possibility. That's just cruel. It's just cruel.
Yeah,
because he obviously, his feelings for Sam are growing in a way that he had not expected, or he would not have a dream like this. But so sorry, but he's not ready for this. And he's not ready to accept this as a possibility mentally. So I think that's why he's "don't do this to me," and he's falling forward. Sam's running towards him to see how he's doing. And then we move to
if I could just say, I interpreted it a little differently. The way that I saw it was that he was mixing up, he had placed Sam in the position that his wife had been in, the loving, trusted, wife. And I think when he "do not do this to me," he's thinking she'll do the same thing Gweneth did. She's in the memory in the house where this, betrayal happened to him. And I think he's thinking, "Don't do this to me, don't betray me, don't do what my first wife did." But
and see, I would think that would be right, but this is the same day as the event that took place.
Yeah.
So he's coming home early, just like he did before, right?
Mhm.
And instead of listening to his wife being unfaithful to him upstairs, he's got Sam, who's now his wife. We see a ring on her finger. I didn't mention that. We see a ring on her finger, so they are married. She also is wearing a necklace that has the quill on it.
The feather
From
Yeah.
Ruminate.
yeah, the pen is mightier than sword from
Mhm.
Ruminate. But so for me, I feel like this this fantasy was overriding the infidelity.
Mm.
Okay.
Maybe with the dream that he wanted for himself, and see, in him breaking like this, I always thought that would be what happened when he let go.
Yeah.
But I kind of was expecting a little bit more. So we'll see what happens. The next scene, it changes a little bit. You can tell it's current Charles. The glasses are gone. And he says, it can't be real. So he says, this isn't real. It can't be real. So why is he saying it can't be real?
Because
Does he not want it to be real? Or does he know that it can't be real because he doesn't think he deserves it? He's not going to allow it because he's not going to get into a relationship with anybody like that again.
Maybe it's just not like physically real because he knows he's not in Wales. He's not in his old house.
So I was thinking too.
There you go. Yeah. And he did say Gweneth when he came in. He was expecting Gweneth. I mean, I wonder if he did this a lot. I wonder if he would dream the infidelity a lot in his sleep, and it would be a nightmare. And then instead, he's thinking of Sam. I wonder if that would happen a lot with him.
God. Yeah. So anyway, so he wakes up, and now after this very emotional dream,
Heart-wrenching. Yeah.
they're in bed together, not dressed, naked, covered up, but clearly undressed, snuggling. And I was like, "Whoa, what? Are we serious? Has this happened?" I was like, "Have we really just snuggling? Like, what's happening?" But then evidence made it clear. So she has her inhaler there. So
better to keep that on hand just in case.
Strenuous activity. And he jumps and looks at her, who says she's sleeping softly,
blushing.
Oh, I know, right? Blushing. Oh, and then he just nuzzles her gently. Oh gosh. So sweet, so sweet. So yeah, I'm sure this must be very reassuring for him to wake up to.
I do have to say, I find his reaction to his dream interesting.
Okay.
So he jumps up and he looks and he sees, Sam. And then he's all snuggly and cute. I wonder what he's thinking now. He just had this dream where he's imagining her pregnant with his children, living in his old home. I'm wondering what he's thinking. He's blushing. He's not running away. We don't see chains in the back of the panel or anything like that. He seems very sweet. So I just kind of am curious of what his thought process is after that dream.
Yeah. I'm assuming we're going to get some thought process at some point in a different episode. I'm just hoping that.
I'm pretty sure he's pretty good at like compartmentalizing his mind. So he's like, okay, put that away for later.
Yeah.
But he's still blushing too, so I can tell that he hasn't shut down emotionally though.
Right, for her. I think blush is like a present moment, not necessarily related to the dream. Aw. And then he wakes up, he's kissing her from behind, and she's like, oomph. And Charles, and she also blushes immediately the second she wakes up. And she has these beautiful starry eyes. And he says, "Poor Dad Bunty, good morning. Do you feel all right?" I said, "Yeah, I think so." Any pain? It's 7:30. So we see his glasses there and a open condom wrapper. So that pretty much cemented it. And just like a little, you want to try to sit up, take your time. And he's like, atta girl, go slow. And she gets up and, full nudity from the back because she's trembling. Don't hurry yourself. And she's like, ow. So, it's interesting. I did not experience this the first time I had sex. So I guess I'm grateful.
Yeah, it just kind of makes me think of how weak her body is. It's weaker than we think.
I guess.
But
Oh, but we also get
no. Go on. Remember, I'm recording.
No, yes. Yeah, but I guess yeah, I don't know how many people experience this level of pain after their first time, but I don't know if it's like
I don't know what they were doing last night.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we get evidence of a little like roughness. Well, I mean, we'll get to it, but we got a little roughness.
It seemed like they had an adventurous night.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
I'm so excited for them. I can't believe they finally did it.
Okay, I'm wondering too. I'm like, why didn't we get like? Because you know how manga usually puts like achievements. I'm wondering why we didn't get an achievement yet for like for losing her V card.
That would have been fun.
Yes, that was cute.
Probably, I think, because it seems like this is focusing more on Charles.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so she's trying to get up and she's having difficulty. She's has to put her hands on the bed to steady herself, and she's trembling. And he says, "Samara, are you okay?" And we had a lot of skin showing from everyone involved over here. And
some Welsh titties.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I have to admire people who work out so that their body looks amazing like that. I've been going to the gym lately and I'm like, keep looking at the mirror. I'm like, why don't I look like, in this case, Henry Cavill, because I'm watching The Witcher. I'm like, why don't I look like Henry Cavill? I've been going to the gym for 2 weeks. But apparently you also have to dehydrate yourself for a lot of the shirtless shots after you dehydrate so that you can see the muscles better, which is cruel and insane punishment in my opinion. But anyway, she collapses down. Again, now if there was any doubt that she is unclothed, there is no doubt now. Yeah, her inhaler falls off and he rubs her shoulder and says, maybe you should lie down for a bit longer, eh, Bunty? Oh, so sweet. I'm so happy she's so comfortable. Last time she woke up next to him, she was like so embarrassed she fell off the bed. So this is a big improvement. And she's like, sorry, my body is really weak. My muscles are trembling too much to stand. Do you think that's nerves or do you think that's pure physical reaction?
I think that's physical exhaustion. I was just going to say, I've had that experience before where your limbs are just so tired that they can't hold themselves up anymore. And usually I think it was when I was carrying a whole bunch of big boxes around. So I think it's just physical exhaustion. Sorry.
I want to say both.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that once after I did like a mud run. So I guess that was physically exerting. I was starting to wonder about like, never had this with my sex life. Am I missing out on something?
Yeah, my sex life has never turned out this much of a workout.
Nope.
We'll say.
I don't think I would want something where I was hurt so bad afterwards.
Maybe like occasionally for a fun, date night activity. Do something a little spicy and crazy when you can sleep in. But yeah, definitely not on a regular basis for me.
Yeah. So he says, you don't need to apologize. You had an active night last night. It's only natural for you to need some time to recover. And again, he's very sweet. He's not judgmental. He's very accepting. Probably, I would say a little proud. I think men they have the reputation for enjoying it when they,
Well, we definitely think that coming forward. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
definitely feels proud of himself.
Yes, and she's like, Charles, did I do okay? And she's, again, still not facing him. Probably, again, she's not physically able to, but I think she also would be uncomfortable to ask him this, look at him in the eye. And he's like, what do you mean, Bunty? And she's like, did I make you happy?
Oh, and he's blushing.
Smile on his face.
He's chuckling. It's like, did you enjoy it too? Which I totally get that question because, if it's her first time, I mean, presumably he was signaling in, some fashion that he was enjoying it. But it's, you know, you want to be reassured the first, especially it's her first time. Like she doubts if she's good at it. So yeah, I'm totally understanding her question. It's like, yes, Bunty, who nuzzles her? You were wonderful. I enjoyed it very much. Oh, I love all the coziness in this episode.
He must have if he had that dream.
Right?
He's already imagining her, his wife, pregnant with his children.
Yep. Oh, and it's so sweet. Everything's just so sweet. I love all the physical touching, you know, holding her back and nuzzling. It's just very, very sweet.
It's very sweet. It's not, I don't know. He's just being so gentle. He's being what I would imagine would be a good match for Sam. He's not being raunchy or anything like that. He's just sweet, kind, caring, supportive. That's one of the reasons why I think they're a very good fit.
Yeah, he is a sweetie. And then he asks, did you enjoy it too? And he is sliding his hand down her back. And we see a little bit, something sticking out under the blanket. And she's like, yes. And he says, was it better or worse than what you expected? And she says, so much better.
And he's just grinning like a cat.
He's kind of, it's a little bit like he's looking at the camera and like thinking at you.
Like, yeah, she did. Yeah.
You can be proud, Charles. You can do it. And now he slides the blanket down a little bit and we see what looks like a very large bite mark on her butt. Very large. Like, I mean, his mouth must have been open really wide to do it like that.
I'm like, is it a bite mark? Because I'm like, physically, I'm like, I
know, right?
I thought it was like he like, you know.
Oh, that's I'm pretty. Remember, he likes to bite.
But yeah, I agree, Krystine. It's a little too wide, I think, to physically be a bite. Because, but whatever, it's something.
Either way.
Yeah.
When we see the next panel.
Yeah, he gasps. I think he did not realize that he left an imprint on her. But hey, at least he did it, like she said last time, in a place where
well, and Monica was definitely right because he's got those lusty eyes. Go on. Sorry, my husband's like literally. Hi, lusty eyes. Yes, go away.
Yes. Well, I don't know if I should continue speaking. Precious shadow.
Sorry.
Oh, you guys have headphones. I guess you can't hear us.
Yeah, they can't hear you guys. Yeah. He just heard me say lusty eyes, and he was teasing me. But yes, he's got his lusty eyes. So he obviously, Monica was very correct that men like it when partners only know where it is. They can only see it.
And now, for even further validation of his ego, she's like, so, and we see some cleavage, which apparently that was the difficulty with being censored. When can we do it again?
Now.
Yes. And he's like, oh, if I knew, which I looked up means, oh my God.
Yeah, he said that a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah. And he's chuckling. Yes. I'm sure he must be very happy about that.
I'm like,
yes.
Did they have work that morning?
Did they what?
Did they have work this morning? Because I mean, they could go at it again.
All right, what day of the week was that? Okay, 7:30.
Do they have more condoms with them?
7:30. It's early.
Before we get down to the next section, is there anything else we want to? He just is so blushy and he's so sweet.
Blushy Charles is my favorite.
Yeah,
mine too. Messy haired blushy Charles is my favorite.
Either that or like Chibi Charles. It's like the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did not expect them to have sex. I was not.
No.
Okay.
Well, she wanted it.
I know. We all wanted it. And I was so sure that we were gonna get interrupted.
Yes, again.
We do get that feeling though. The relationship is okay.
I know. Okay, Charles maybe
on that pedestal.
She's right there. She's willing. Yes, she also is not sure about relationship, but trust me, she's into it. You just need to work on yourself. Everything's fine. There's nothing stopping you except for what happens next.
Okay,
Yes.
here we go. So we cut to a scene where I guess it's an airport because we see Mr. and Mrs. Jones, or Mr. and Mrs. Jones, Mr. and Mrs. Young.
Hey, you know, they're going to be in-laws
I
soon.
mean,
We saw Mrs. and Mr. Jones in the beginning of this episode.
Freudian slip, I'm sorry. Anyway, we see Sam's parents, and the mom's like, honey, I'm gonna go to use the restroom before our flight. Need anything? And Mr. Young's like, I'm good. All right, I'll be right back. Stay out of trouble. And I thought Mr. Young was gonna give like his wife asked like a little
Oh, he so should have. Yeah, he so should have. Missed opportunity there.
missed opportunity, but I mean, he was a little focused on something else, as we see. We see
Her
him
saying
give.
stay out of trouble is so apt because he did not stay.
I want her to find out, and I want her to chew him out.
No.
So angry at him. The
I
funny
know.
thing is I still really like him as a character, though.
Yes.
He's a really good character in this. If we didn't have him, we wouldn't have the development that we get to see with Sam.
Mhm.
So I think he's still very important, but man alive. Ugh.
So we see Sam's mom just walking off, and then Mr. Young just giving this like focused look. He reaches into his pocket, gets his phone. We see a text from Agent 1 saying he drove her home with a picture of Sam and Charles outside of her apartment. And then Mr. Young
So
says,
sketchy.
I know. And Mr. Young texts back, report. And he sees he spent the night. And the look on his face is just livid.
Yeah. He's definitely tenting his brows now.
Mm-hmm. And we just see Jones. I knew you were the villain of this story. And all we see, I know, we see Mr. Young holding his phone and squeezing it so hard that it cracks. He cracks the screen. End of the episode. Are you, excuse me? What?
I knew there was going to be a cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, we knew.
And then Charles gets deported, and it's the end of the story.
Oh my god.
Okay, Mr. Young. You never heard of this? Okay, you know Meg. I forgot her name, but she has a song. My name is no. My number is no. You need to let it go. You need to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill him. So
I
angry.
know.
What is wrong with that? He's like literally invading his daughter's privacy in front of her freaking house. What is he, a spy? Oh my god.
Yes, he is.
Not so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
now
very
we know
funny.
for certain that he is definitely spying on her. It's not just somebody that he's having a conversation with at work or anything like that.
Okay.
Really shady.
But I have a crack theory because I'm like, that is this very specific angle that we get that picture from.
know.
An angle that hi kitty. An angle that Marshall was at just a few seconds ago.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, I don't think Marshall's a spy, but I was thinking something. I was like, is it a camera there or is it a person? Because if it's a person, we would have seen them.
I think it's a telephoto lens. So if you remember looking at that direction, there's a big blank area. They had just have a wall. So I think it's a telephoto lens, but I think Mongi reused that panel. She didn't just redraw it. So I think it's a reused panel. That's why it looks really familiar to us. But I don't think it was Eva. She didn't see them. Sorry. It wasn't Marshall. So I think it was a telephoto lens.
Yeah, I don't think Marshall.
And which is even more disgusting. The fact that like he planted like spy cameras like all over her apartment.
Oh my god, I hope it doesn't have anything in her apartment.
Oh, that would be so wrong.
Oh god.
No, yeah.
I think it's somebody with just one of those a camera that can zoom in really good to get a picture like that. But
either way, it's an insane invasion of privacy, and the dad is like out of his mind. You know, I remember when I was 17, my parents read my email because I don't know why. I can't figure out if they suspected it or not, but I went on a date without their permission one day. Because the way I grew up, you date through matchmakers, like you don't just date on your own. But I did, because I was just a little rebel. I dated some guy from the college I went to, which was a religious program. So there wasn't, the boys and girls had separate date, like they were separate, but I had my ways. I got on a date anyway. So they read my emails, and I was like, because they had set it up originally when, because I was a little teenager. I was like 17. But yeah, I was like, and the mom was disappointed at what she found in my emails, because I had hinted to some not appropriate activity, and I was like, well, that's what you get if you read my emails. Well, yes, that's the worst invasion of privacy. And I was 17. Sam is like 20.
She's in her 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's sick, twisted. Yep. He's got this overbearing, controlling need to keep his baby a baby. And sorry, she's not even a virgin anymore. So, but I'm really not looking forward to how he's going to react. I guess I'm just kind of, I'm curious. I mean, I'm enjoying the story. And we knew that conflict needed to happen soon. And we knew it was going to come in the form of spying and Marshall's dad and Eva. I shouldn't talk very much.
No, I just had a thought. I'm like, okay, so what if this is the push that makes Charles take that other job?
Yeah,
because obviously this is gonna blow up. This is gonna blow up, and it's gonna be bad.
Can I give you another theory?
Yes.
Does anybody want another theory?
Yes, please.
Hey, it's gonna make you laugh, though. Okay.
Oh,
all right. So, I was thinking about, even before this episode came out, I was thinking that, remember when Charles was trying to get distracted he was looking up on the internet, and then he kind of leaned back, he had a drink, and you see him close his eyes and imagine Sam with him touching his face again. But he has such a vivid imagination that he surprised himself that he actually did think that she was there for just a second, right? So that's where this theory came, that I thought that he might imagine Sam in place of his wife, which he did, just in a more positive light, but he still kind of had a panic reaction to it, like I thought he might. So I think if you have somebody who's got this vivid of an imagination, I think he might really like gameplay.
Okay.
So I really think that that night when he couldn't find what he needed on the internet, he had started having these vivid imaginations of her being there, and he had all these little reminders that she was in his apartment at one point, and he was getting hungry, but he had to have an outlet. And of course, I think he is Dion on playing the game. So I think this makes a lot of sense, though, because if he does take that job and he is Dion, we still have that connection between him and Sam, and they can still develop a relationship. They can still develop a friendship, which gives me a feeling like there's a purpose for Dion. If it was Marshall, I don't see that. I don't see the need in the story. But now I see that Dion was planted. If he's Charles, Dion was planted there so that if he leaves Mr. Young's employment, they can still have this relationship. They can still grow. They can still get to know each other, even though they don't technically know that it's each other.
Well, do you think Sam knows it's her? Sorry, Charles. I don't necessarily agree with that theory in general, but do you think Sam knows? Charles knows that it's Sam? No. Okay.
No, I did at first, but I do not now. No.
Okay. How do you respond to the fact that he said, I just started playing, recently, and he's at max level already?
So I've played World of Warcraft, and you can play and get to a really, really high level and still have a lot to go. You're not at the end of the game when you hit a max level. That's when you start working on your gear. He also has, he might have gotten to a max level in a certain section of the game as opposed to the whole game. He also had to do little things though, like fish for the first time. That makes sense. So I still think, I will die on this hill, I've said it before, that it's Charles. And I think it makes a lot of sense to have a connection, because now I think Marshall and Sam will work on, maybe she gets really pissed at her dad and decides not to work for him anymore either.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so she and Marshall focus on the game. He does the illustrations. She focuses on the game. So they don't need that extra connection. They can just talk to each other. But if Charles leaves and he takes this other job, but he's not out of the story entirely, he didn't run away. He's probably forced to take that position because he's fired or something like that. But if we still want him to be endgame, we can still have this connection. She can become better friends with Dion, and then somehow they find out who each other is, and it's a happy yay moment. And I don't know. I still think that I can see a reason why Dion was put in the story now.
Well, you definitely have to be on the episode where the big reveal is done. Even if you didn't sign up for it, you're being on it.
Even if I'm wrong and I'm crying and I'm like, hey, Marshall, I'm not a bear. I still think it's Charles. I'll probably be in denial. I'll go through all the grieving process stage, anger, denial, yes, grief, sorrow. Yeah, it'll all be there. Or I'll be right.
Or, yep.
Oh, I just had a good idea for a bonus question. So, do we have anything else we want to say in the episode before we do that?
I love Mongi. And
Yes.
lots of love this week. I know you have a lot of good things happening, birthday, anniversary, Christmas, New Year's, but I'm also sorry for your loss. And those who don't know, she had a pet pass away this last week. And that's just, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's had it rough.
Yeah.
And also like moving into a new place too, like oof.
Yeah, so much going on, and she was still able to get this really awesome episode out to us, even if we're like Mr. Young. It needed to happen. We knew it needed to happen. So
she was
good
saying
progress.
On Twitter, she was saying on Twitter that like, oh, the episode's only going to be like 50 panels, and I'm like, you're putting something out, like what, like insane with all the stuff that's going on. Like I'm like, nobody better complain.
I know, and I haven't seen any complaints. I've seen lots of love, and I hope she sees it.
Yeah, that's tough. It's very tough. So,
thank you so much to my current patrons: Susie, Lady Libris, Lily, Jenny, Haley, Maria, Molly, Veronica, Emily, Joe, Rochelle, Saucy Tuggles, Meg, Ann Rose, Priya, Alexa, Misty, Laura, Joanne, Patty, Jen, Emilda, Esther, I'm Watching You, Taurus, Poppy Seed, Marie, Jen, Emily, Jean, Jen, Erin D, Kate, Lily, Beckett, and Duranda. Your support is truly appreciated.